All right, folks, welcome back to the show. This is Black Quarterback Guy sitting in for Craig Shelton. I'm kind of like Batman. When things get crazy, I have to come in and rescue the situation because this man said something negative about Vince Young, and we not gonna have it. What's next? You gonna insult Donovan McNabb? Please. All right. Hey, look, he exists. He exists. There's a little bit of Black Quarterback Guy inside of all of you black folks out there watching this show. And last I checked, this is UTN, so there's a bunch of y'all watching. So we were talking about Charles Barkley's conversation on, let me go back here, on CNBC on the show Closing Bell. And Charles Barkley, to summarize what I read to you at the end of last segment, for the most part just came out and said, quite frankly, he agrees with the Zimmerman verdict. He feels like something went wrong that night. He does feel like the kid was profiled, but he does feel like the kid flipped the script at some point and, to quote, started beating the hell out of Mr. Zimmerman. He also went on to say that main thing I feel bad for is in the trial, with the trial, is that it gives and I thought this was a critical point, it gives every white person and black person who are racist a platform to vent. Think about that. He's saying that the Zimmerman verdict gives every black and white person, and not just black and whites, Hispanics like Sean, white guys like Fred, Cowboy fans like Richard, and illegal NCAA recruiters like Will Lyles a place
the haters are too.
To vent. He went on to say, I don't like it when race gets out in the media because I don't think the media has clean hands. And to further update you folks on what's going on with it at the time we take this show, obviously there have been demonstrations all over the country, mostly peaceful. I read a lot about it before we take today. I saw some footage today. Things are going along peacefully out in LA. I know we got things scheduled here in Houston, and I hope and pray that by the time you folks view this show, none of that has changed in regard to it being peaceful. So, Richard Walker, you work in a part of town of Houston where there's quite a bit of traffic when you drive home in the evenings, right?
Yep.
So you're driving home. I'll give you the scenario. You're driving home down the highway that you drive home, and you, African American man, you get stopped in traffic because of the marches. You're thinking what?
I'm thinking, what's the point in this? Because, I understand, and I approve of the message that's trying to be sent. The message is that there was a grave injustice that took place here. That's not the right forum for it, though. The way that you impact it is who you vote for. You communicate with the people that are in positions of authority that can actually take action on these type of things. I think that's more of a symbolic type measure, and it's not having the desired impact. And to be frank, I drive a Chevy pickup. You come in front of my damn Chevy pickup on Highway 288 if you want to. I'll have a nice hood ornament when we're done, because that's just that's not what we're trying to accomplish here. We're trying to get the message across that we need to have equal justice for everyone, regardless of who they are, what their skin tone is. Standing out on 288 is not going to get that done.
We want to thank Richard Walker for those very sensitive comments coming from an African American truck driving individual who clearly is a sociopath. Fred, you white guy getting off the air, doing your show right around the time you get off every day in traffic, and you drive up on the same situation as Richard Walker, and you think what?
I think I pull out my gun and shoot the nearest person and claim my stand your ground law.
Normally we don't invite sociopaths on this show. Somehow today our production staff didn't quite properly screen those folks.
In all honesty, I agree with a lot of what he said. I think it's there are ways to get your message out, and I'm all for protests. And I do think that this case, from a media perspective, I find very frustrating because it has become such a media case when we have 100 cases in downtown Houston that are very similar in the course of a month, that you can go down to the courtroom and see exactly what happened, that never get this kind of attention. And I think the real message that we should take out of it, and what people should do if they really want to change things, is he said, elect better people. You know what? Make a stand. As citizens, we have the right to go and say, hey, you know what? Our laws suck. This stand your ground law sucks. We need to do something about this. And I want to vote for people who are actually going to do something about it. And, oh, by the way, these folks who are prosecutors, I'm going to demand that we get better prosecutors here. Let's get these people fired. They did a lousy job. The prosecution in this case was terrible. And if you heard their interview afterwards, it sounds like they were celebrating. The lady they sent down from the state. That's what you should be angry at, and those are the people you should go after. And I think if that's what we did, and if more of us would actually, and now I'm going to get off on a tangent here, if more of us would actually get out and vote and become politically active and actually change some of this stuff, then we wouldn't be able to sit back and say, oh, this is awful, this is an outrage. Go out and change it, man. Make a difference. We can all do it.
White man that does radio and packs a shotgun in his truck when he gets off work.
Not a shotgun, a handgun.
Handgun. And legally, right?
Of course.
Of course. Sean Garza, maybe the most interesting person on the panel tonight per the conversation right now. When George Zimmerman was first accused, all of the photos and mugshots and things that we saw of him physically depicted a different individual than the guy that we became to know most recently, in how he was cosmetically changed. It was clear that the defense went out of their way to make it clear that they focused more on his Hispanic heritage than the fact that he had a Jewish father. Okay? You as a person of that descent, how do you feel about it? Had you even thought about that angle of it? And if not, honestly speaking, I know it's short term to ask you that if you didn't think about that angle.
I honestly wasn't thinking of that angle. I saw the trial or case as a human, killing another human. That's basically how.
Well, that part of it is what it is. Mm-hmm. But strategically speaking, in a court of law, what attorneys do, we live in a real world, so let's be real about this.
Right.
It was clear that they changed his appearance, and they went out of their way to make him look more toward his Hispanic heritage than his non-Hispanic heritage. I just have to. I can't help but wonder how you think about just that in terms of the strategy. I know you as a guy.
Right.
You are what HMW is all about. We get accused of being, because we criticize the media, we media watchdogs. The media they dub us as racist. If I criticize a white member of the media and I make a point about something racial, that is completely accurate.
Right.
If you don't like the numbers, change them. You know what I mean? If you don't like the numbers, change the number. I didn't create the numbers.
Sure.
But I know what type of guy you are. I know what type of all these guys are that contribute. And we're black, we're white, we're Hispanic. We got a complete different makeup. I never told you guys what to write or anything. You do your own thing. But I can't answer that question like you can. And I just wonder how you feel about, because I'm coming from this angle. To me, it was almost like sliding the race angle onto somebody else. You know what I mean? Like, oh, we don't need that one. We allow you deal. You deal with this one. I just, I thought you were the guy, to ask that question.
Well, to the original question, I didn't think of it about it like that, but now that you kind of thrown that out there, he was portrayed in a whole different light than the way he originally was when the incident happened. When the original incident happened, he was super skinny, clean cut, a little, beard or whatever. Mm-hmm. And in the courtroom, he's bigger, he's clean cut, very sharp and all that. I don't know.
Well, let me say this. I asked that to get to this point because in Charles Barkley's comments, he said, I don't like it when race gets out in the media because I don't think the media has clean hands. See, they didn't just do that to Zimmerman. They did the same thing with Trayvon Martin. Because early on, all we saw was pictures of Trayvon Martin that made black folks, when they saw that, when they heard the story, and we saw that picture, that little young-looking black kid who didn't even look 17, we was like, oh my God, really? You know, hey, we got young sons. We can identify with it. You know what I mean? And for me, my point about it is that, man, this was a media case from the beginning. This was a media case with racial overtones because the media ignited them. Cause like Fred say, that stuff right here downtown Houston every day you can go and look at.
Exactly.
My
All
neighborhood,
over.
now that you speak, Will, my neighborhood has had, I'll say within the last 6 months, close to 6 murders. Okay? Horrific murders. The last one, someone was set on fire. No march. And it's all presumed black on black. Last I checked, you can exit Reed Road without any interruption off 288 the day after each one of those homicides. Will House.
I felt that the defense didn't portray his Hispanic, didn't really put out the Hispanic side too much. I really think that they catered to his Caucasian side more. People have to remember his father was a judge.
Well, media-wise, but my question with him was what the defense team did.
Even with the defense team, I think that they catered to that side of more because they wanted to relate to the jurors, which were primarily Caucasian. So I felt that they wanted them to relate to that side more of him anyway, because that's basically what they wanted them to relate to him more, because that's what would have got him acquitted. That's how I feel about it. I don't feel that they pushed out the minority angle on George Zimmerman too much at all.
You think
The defense
the
team.
media?
No, the defense team.
Okay.
I don't feel that they pushed that side of him out there as
Do you
much
think
anyway.
the media was slanting in one particular direction, guilty or non-guilty? Or the media was just working for the best story?
They were looking for the best story because they
That's
want,
what I think too.
I think they want the best story.
The media. And I'm only
The
talking
media
about
wanted the best story.
Yeah.
The media.
And the best story, unfortunately, is what?
Is a not guilty verdict.
No,
Honestly,
the
I mean,
best story was a racial.
It was a racial epitome.
You know what I'm saying? We
it
ain't
was.
had. Hey, somewhere there's in the big media room in the sky where all the big time media decision makers sit. Somewhere up there, they were sitting there going, "Wow, man, we ain't had one like this since the OJ trial." You know, because come on, man, this thing generates money. Why do you think that the Boston Bomber is on the front cover of
Rolling Stone.
Rolling Stone, depicted like a rock star? Because they really think he's a rock star?
No,
No,
they weren't incited.
no, it was all media. I think this thing is going to go on for quite some time, and I think we'll address it again. I brought it up today only because of the comments made with Charles Barkley. Obviously, immediately after the Zimmerman verdict, we saw Twitter abuzz with comments from athletes all over the country. You know, well-documented tweets that now everybody pretty much knows about. The people that helped build a country.
Built by racism.
Now, right now, we are working it out. You know, we are working together, but we got here. Nobody put this on the United States. No other country made us who we are. We made ourselves who we are. You know what I'm saying? We on our own went and got with African kings who betrayed their own people and ended up helping to capture their own people and bring them into this country. But because African kings betrayed their own people, it doesn't exonerate the people that went there and worked with them to do it. Black people are not given a pass because you were, quote unquote, oppressed to go out and kill each other, disrespect your women, do drugs, sell drugs. Nobody is acquitted from self-responsibility in this country. The sooner you realize that, the sooner you'll get your ass off the freeway and you'll start doing something that's actually going to matter and making a change in the country, you are now free to go. Mr. Cutt, we'll see you next week.